On the line then, the first of the 125cc races, all the races over 12 laps. And, well, you're a brave man to pick a winner. Let's just have a quick look back. We've had 6 races so far. Doug Henry has won 2 of them. Greg Albertine has won 2 of them. And Frédéric Vial, a Frenchman, bike number 15. And the 16-year-old Michael Pichon, another Frenchman, has won the 6th race. So there we go. It's this is the lineup. World champions about Albertine, Strybos, a former world champion, Tractor Pichon, Antones from America, Henry, Ezra Lust, the 17-year-old from Georgia. A lot of very, very good riders, and the start absolutely crucial. Although Doug Henry has proved that it is possible to come charging through, Greg Albertine has had problems on both nights. In fact, he went down with a bit of a tummy upset on the very first night, had to miss the second of the 3 races then. And that meant that he ended the night down in 9th place overall. On the second day, Albertine crashed twice in the second of 3 races. He won the other 2, but he finished lowly 13th, I think it was, in the yes, 13th in that middle race. And Albertine looking to prove to everyone that he is a worthy 125 world champion. In fact, the very first South African to win a motocross world title. Lives at the moment in Belgium when he's racing in Europe, but his home is Bryanston, which is a district of Johannesburg. He's 19 years of age, started racing at the age of 8, and is a very devout Christian. And he does believe that his faith helps him win races. A very pleasant young man, and certainly a credit to his sport. Well, closer and closer then to the start. Can Doug Henry do the business? But Antones yesterday got quite irate at the end of one of the races, and was very almost coming to blows at the end of it all. 15 seconds end to the start, says the clock. And that board will be changed very quickly for a 5-second board. The gate in front of them drops down towards them, so obviously if you touch it, you're in trouble. The gate drops and away they go. The charge is on. Number 1, Greg Albertine, blocked in a little bit. And this first turn, very difficult, and already somebody goes down. And one of the Frenchmen, Marco Macio, number 23, leads. Greg Albertine, number 1 up there. So too number 6, Buddy Antones. 14, Mike Chamberlain, one of the Americans, in 3rd place. Greg Albertine in 2nd spot behind one of the Frenchmen, Michael Macio. And that's a good start for the Frenchman. Albertine 2nd, then number 14, Michael Chamberlain back there. Buddy Antones, Doug Henry, number 7. 24, Xavier Fabre, another one of the French guys. This is the section of the circuit where they actually go underneath one of the main grandstands. Same circuit used each night. A lot of work has to go on to try to keep the track up to date, and those jumps you can't really get the full impression, but they do fly very high level with those front rows in the main grandstand. The Frenchman, Macio, hanging on to the lead, but the world champion, Greg Albertine, in 2nd place and beginning to look more and more threatening. And it just goes through on the better line and takes the lead as they go underneath the Dunlop Bridge out into the section that takes them out of the view of the spectators. You've got a better view watching at home, and the South African, 19 years of age, out in front, beginning to stretch the advantage over 23, Macio. And as they come back into the view of the 14,000 capacity crowd, it's the world champion who leads. Buddy Antones, number 6, up into 3rd place. Number 14, Mike Chamberlain, is in fourth spot. Then quite a gap, and the South African beginning to stretch the advantage, but the Frenchman hanging on to second spot. But here comes Buddy Antunez, just quicker over those whoops, and goes through to second spot. And Doug Henry about to pounce as well, I think. Yes. And so we've got the South African world champion out in front, and the two Americans in second, third place in the form of Buddy Antunez, number 6, and Mike Chamberlain on number 14. Hamilton 19. Buddy Antunez, who in second place, is also only 19, and Mike Chamberlain 19. So it's a young man's sport, of that there is no doubt. 12 laps, all these races, and Antunez, who's a tough old dude, beginning to charge. And Ezra Lust there, number 8, has been lapped, I suspect. Is about to be lapped by Chamberlain. And the 17-year-old American, Lust, who's obviously had some problems early on, will soon get the treatment, I suspect. High-flying character, though, the boy from Georgia on bike number 8. And he gets the blue flag in the end to indicate that the leaders are wanting to overtake him. And, well, is he going to move over? Well, Chamberlain finds no problem there. Antunez has already gone. The Frenchman still hanging on. That's a good ride from Massey on the Suzuki. And there's Urlas beginning to move over. Terry Bettis, number 19, another Frenchman behind in 6th place by my reckoning. And surprise, surprise, with the French director, we do tend to see an awful lot of the young French riders. That's the order. Albertin, Antunez, Chamberlain, Massio, Bettis, and Jimmy Gaddis, the American, in 6th place. But I don't think that's right. I think he may be one place further back. Here's the race leader anyway. The man who lives in Haag de Stad in Belgium during the summer. 3rd year of racing in Europe, and this year he finally clinched the 125 title. There's Buddy Antunez. He's a tough, hard little man. We've seen him have some splendid rides, and he's starting the day well here. 20 points for a win, 17 for second, 15 for third, and then 11 and so on down to 15th place. And at the end of the night, overall victory to the rider with the highest points tally. No extra prize money, but the glory of being overall winner does matter. Antunez then in 2nd place, number 6, chasing the South African. And the French Master of Ceremonies trying to get the crowd fired up. 4.5 seconds the gap between Greg Albertin and Buddy Antunez in 2nd place. And we're watching the 2nd place man now. Budman, they call him, part of the Pro Circuit Peak Honda squad. Started racing, would you believe it, at the age of 3. And he's now 19, so he's been at this sport 16 years. Lives in Moreno Valley, California. And, well, he's a very, very talented rider. And as you can see, he's perhaps eating into the gap. There's the race leader who's actually just lapped his teammate. That's the former world champion, 1986 125 world champion Dave Strybos, number 2. There's the race leader. Just, leaping those 3 jumps, making it just one effort, going well. But Antunez trying to quicken the pace, and he's a very, very strong finisher, so maybe it's not all over yet. Albertin, Antunez, Chamberlain, Massio still going well. Cyril Port now up to 5th place. Jimmy Gaddis 6th. No sign at the moment of that 16-year-old French protégé and very, very talented youngster Michael Pichon. Ricky Johnson, during the presentations, was saying that he'd been treated so well here by the crowd, but it's time for the old men to move over. Oh, look at the lead. It's now stretched to 10.19 seconds. So Greg Albertine has broken the challenge of Buddy Antunez. As I was saying, Ricky Johnson was asking the crowd to give the same support to the youngsters that they've given to him, and Jean-Michel Bale and Jeff Ward and people like that. Nice attitude from Rick Johnson. So the race leader coming into the closing stages, Greg Albertine, on his final lap. You can see the circuit beginning to break up, but it's had to withstand a lot of racers. This is the 13th race, and there will be 18 racers running it over 3 days plus practice. And Albertine has a long look just to see if there's anybody about to gain on him, then winds up the wick on the Honda. Flies high, rear. These jumps are so big. These guys so talented, they just soar into space, going into orbit. And Greg Albertine then on the way to what will be his third victory of the competition, his first of the night. And the world champion hoping to notch overall victory. A bit of a charge coming on behind. And 23, that was Massio. And behind they were ganging up. So it got quite close behind. Buddy Antunez, I think, finally took second place. There's Greg Albertine taking off his helmet. And a look to see how he, bit of posing. They all do this posing job over the finishing line. Greg Albertine going well. And checkered flag. Win number 3 for the 19-year-old South African. Chance to see he does fly high, but they all do. Quite remarkable bravery, skill and talent. This is a show and a half. And British fans can have a taste of Supercross themselves, because racing comes to the NEC Birmingham on the 11th, 12th and 13th of December. And a lot of the big names here, including this young man, will be in action there on over that 3-day period. First night will be British riders only, and then it will be the International Brigade with Jeff Stanton, Larry Ward, Greg Albertine, Donny Schmidt, who's the 250 world champion, also in action there at Birmingham. So the first win of the night to Albertine, second place for Antunez. More big action to come. Join us after the break.
When you like. Come on. Come on. Voici donc le vainqueur Greg Albertine, devant Buddy Antunez et Mike Chamberlain.
In fact, let's just give you the results of this first race before we go to that commercial break. Albertine, Antunez, Chamberlain, Massio, the Frenchman. Well, that's how they ended. So, more action to come. Great Supercross action here at Bercy. Join us after the break. So the first 250 race of the night about to kick off on this, the third day of the Bercy tournament. 3 British boys to keep your eyes open for then. Number 11, Rob Herring on the Honda UK machine. And number 12, Jamie Dobb on the JD Racing Kawasaki. And then number 20, Warren Edwards on his Suzuki. And Warren Edwards, as I was saying earlier, is riding despite the pain from a broken bone in his hand. Well, there's a man with split personality, I suspect. And the showbiz approach continues. And let's have a quick glimpse down the line. really is a very, very strong field. Jeremy McGrath was saying earlier that he's feeling the effects of 3 days of hard racing, and that's not too good. I see on the right of your screen numbers 2 and 1 together, so Bale and Stanton very close. Look to them to the right of the picture when the charge is on. Over to the right, Stanton out in front. Bale not making a good start, neither is McGrath. Now, who's it going to be out in front? It's Stanton. Number 12, 11, that's Rob Herring. Down goes Brian Swink, though, number 4. Good start then for the British boys. Jamie Dobb in 3rd place on bike number 12. Well, an excellent start for him. Yann Guedard, the Frenchman, in 2nd place. Stanton leads. Guedard, the Frenchman, 2nd. Jamie Dobb, the Derbyshire rider, in 3rd spot. And an excellent start. Behind him, Rob Herring. So Rob Herring in 4th place. So 2 British riders in the top 4. There's number 12, Jamie Dobb on his Kawasaki. Rob Herring on the Honda UK machine in 4th place. And Jamie Dobb having the help and advice from Ricky Johnson to help him in his way. There's number 1, Jean-Michel Bale. Stanton out in front. And look at the gap that Bale has got to make up if he's going to beat Stanton. It really is going to be hard work for him. Stanton leads. Yann Guedard, the Frenchman, number 14. Jamie Dobb, number 12. Then number 11, Rob Herring. Then 23, Bruno Guillard. Number 8, Jeff Emig, the American, up there well. Here comes Bale, number 1. Keep your eye on him. But still, Jamie Dobb holds 3rd place. Rob Herring in 4th place and looking for the inside line. 23, Bruno Guillard. And here comes Bale. And behind him, number 3, Jeremy McGrath. The McGrath trying to make up ground. Just barging riders out of the way. This is a brutal sport. They just chop riders against on the tight turns and call it block passing. It's the sort of thing that in ice hockey would probably put somebody in the sin bin, but in Supercross, no problems at all, and no repercussions back in the pits either. Number 1, Jean-Michel Bale. 5, nearly 6 seconds the gap between Stanton and Bale. Stanton the leader, and there is Bale. He's now behind the British boys. That puts him in 5th position. The Frenchman, there's Dobb, there's Herring, here's Bale. So the Frenchman, the French hero, the darling of the crowd, is in 5th place, and he's got 3 riders between him and Stanton. There is number 3, Jeremy McGrath, behind. Good to see 2 British boys up in the top 4, going very well indeed. They've both got better and better and better as this tournament's gone on. And there's Bale, and he's still behind Messrs Herring and Dobb, and that is splendid news. And we'll see these guys at the NEC. Bale inside Herring, and Jamie Dobb looks back to see what's happening behind, and he'll keep charging as long as he can. Bale in 4th place. And if and when Bale goes past, then Jamie Dobb will still have something to learn to follow this very, very talented man. And Rob Herring looking for a way past Jamie Dobb. He thinks he can go quicker. And there's Herring. Jamie Dobb won't let him go through easily. Guedard in Guillard, rather, number 23 in 2nd place. Yann Guedard, and he's about to be passed by Bale, and suddenly from almost nowhere Jean-Michel Bale is into 2nd place, and now it's clear track between him and that man, Jeff Stanton. The crowd will lift him, they will urge him on, and he won't need any urging. He wants to beat Stanton so badly you can almost taste it. Bale then, chasing the American. 5 seconds the gap now. Number 14, Yann Guedard. Number 3, Jeremy McGrath. Then it's Jamie Dobb and Rob Herring still there. And the MC winding up the crowd, urging on Bale. And there's the gap. Bale, Yann Guedard, number 14, the Frenchman, back there in 3rd spot. He's having an excellent ride, so Frenchman in 1st and 2nd places. Yann Guedard, winner of Le Touquet beach race. So that's he's a talented all-rounder, Guedard. Stanton, the leader. Hurrying. There's Bale, though. Bale's got him in his sights. Now, is that less than 5 seconds? Probably about the same. But Bale can raise his pace. He can quicken his action. And the crowd are just screaming and shouting. Bale behind him, Jan Guedard and Jeremy McGrath. Now challenging number 14, Jan Guedard, the Frenchman. Half distance, 6 laps gone, 6 to go, 6 laps for Bale to catch and pass Stanton. Still, well, just over 4.5 seconds. So Stanton is holding the lead reasonably well. But Bale, at times, he is quite remarkable. He just somehow summons something extra and just takes a second off his previous lap times. Rob Herring 5th, Olivier Perrin, a Frenchman, have now got ahead of Jamie Dobbs, so Jamie just slipping out of the top 6. Bale and the crowd, their attention just riveted. Oh, there's Rob Herring, number 11. So Rob has been lapped, or whether he's hit problems, I'm not too sure. And I think Rob Herring pulling out. Okay, no, there he is, just to the left of your picture. Now, there is Bale. Now, where is Stanton? Was 4.57 seconds, and it's less than that. Of that, there is no doubt. 4.12 it was at the end on the 8th lap. But it's less than that. He can see Stanton. There's Bale. You'll see Stanton in just a minute. Bale just making it 2 jumps. There's Stanton ahead of him. The other end of those whoops. And Bale charging on. 23 years of age. Bale, 24 years of age. Stanton. Jeff Emig now up into 4th place. Olivier Perrin 5th. And Bale now closer and closer and closer to Stanton. But of course, it's one thing to catch a rider of the caliber of Jeff Stanton. It's quite another thing to go past him. A glimpse there of the helmet, down to 3.62 on the 9th lap. We're coming into the closing stages of this 12-lap race. That time gap always about a lap or so behind. We'll keep an eye on the board that the flagman holds out to tell the riders how many laps to go. There's the gap. Stanton at the bottom of your picture. Bale there. Over the top they go. Over the tabletop. There's Stanton. Bale's there, much, much closer. Now, can Stanton hang on to that lead? 2.41 at the end of the 10th lap. Bale charging. Stanton trying to respond. And Stanton will not give way easily. There's so much rivalry between these two. It's almost scary. Stanton, though, out in front. Stanton, who has won both nights overall. And Bale getting closer, but Stanton hanging on, staying out in front. Over the bridge they go. More big jumps. Stanton, Bale behind him. There's just 2 people in it as far as this crowd is concerned. 1.69 was the gap. Out they go again. And Bale getting closer and closer. And Stanton, he won't bother to look back. All he knows is that he's out in front, and it doesn't really matter how close Bale is. If he can go quick enough, then Bale will not be able to go past him. But the crowd rise to their feet. It really is very, very spectacular the way these guys just come hurtling back into view. The crowd literally on tenterhooks while they're waiting to see what the gap is. 2 laps to go. Well, can Bale do it? Can Stanton hang on? It really is nail-biting stuff. Some slower men ahead, and this could be crucial. Both Frenchmen ahead, and Stanton has gone through. And, well, Bale balked slightly. Bale has lost some ground there. 23, Bruno Guillard, and Bale undoubtedly lost some ground, but he's still very, very close to Jeff Stanton. A lap and a half to go. Stanton still leaping out in front. Here comes Bale, closing the gap. Is he timing this run to perfection? Stanton leads less than a second. The gap at the end of the 11th lap, or on the 11th lap. 1 lap to go. The crowd are in a frenzy. Stanton, the American #2, leads. #1, Jean-Michel Bale, is in second place. They're about to catch and lap Jeff Ward, and Bale was on the wrong line. He had to pull over. You can see that's cost him some ground. Has Stanton just quickened his pace? Has Bale left it too late? Who's going to win? The crowd will be devastated if Bale doesn't win this one. And is less than 2/3 a lap to go. Back in the stadium they come. The crowd will urge Jean-Michel Bale on. He's leaping. Oh, and he makes contact with Stanton. He tried to do the block pass and couldn't. Stanton with the advantage. Bale so close. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be... Oh, it's Bale! Bale leapt past Stanton. Well, I think they will give that to Jean-Michel Bale. We'll have to wait for confirmation, but what a remarkable, marvellous Supercross race. Jeremy McGrath third, but I think they'll have to give that one to Bale, and anyone who says it wasn't Bale, they'll probably lynch. And, well, a sporting gesture from Stanton there. Look at this, Stanton on the inside made a bit of a mess, was in the wrong gear, and Bale leapt over the jump. Well, you've got to give it to Bale. I'm sure you've got to give it to Bale. What a wonderful race. Look at this, Bale. Oh, almost made contact. Well, he did make contact, but he almost slammed Stanton into the bales. And how nice to see them just touch hands at the end of it to say, great race. Well, that was splendid there. Stanton made a mistake and Bale goes leaping high. We'll have to wait and see what the judges say. But this is Bercy in Paris. Jean-Michel Bale is the French hero. And, well, who are you going to give it to? You've got to give it to Bale. You've got to give it to Bale. Great, great race.
Jeremy, pas possible d'aller les chercher. It was not possible to touch them or to contact them. They were too fast.
Welcome back to Bercy then for the third and final day of this indoor Supercross spectacular. Coming up then, the second of 3 races today for the 125cc class. Greg Abeltine having won the first leg from Buddy Antonez, with Mike Chamberlain in third spot. And all the big men coming up for this second 12-lap encounter. All the pre-race showtime has ended, and it's back now to the serious stuff. 15 seconds to the start. And the 10th anniversary of Bercy living up to all expectations. The gate drops, the charge is on, the 12 laps ahead of the field. Greg Abeltine trapped at the start. There's a faller right at the very start as well, and mayhem there. Well, that's number 10, that's Phil Lawrence. He went down. Out in front, the Frenchman, Frederic Vial, number 15. 14 is Mike Chamberlain, the American. 18, Jimmy Button of the United States as well. So a Frenchman and 2 Americans absolutely together. Now Vial on the Kawasaki, who leads, is very spectacular, but he has been known to land on his ear. Now, here come the rest. Doug Henry, number 7, beginning to make up progress. 3, Pedro Tractor. 5, Michael Pichon. And, well, I didn't see number 1, Greg Abeltine, so we must assume perhaps that the world champion was one of those involved in that. No, he's back on his feet. Oh, dear, 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 a real traffic jam. And Michael Pichon was one of those involved. There's Buddy Antonez behind him, then 17, Cyril Port. Here they come, Vial, the leader. Number 18, Jimmy Button. Number 14, Mike Chamberlain. 24, that's Xavier Fabre. And Vial out in front. Well, he's crashed spectacularly more than once over the 3 days of competition. Is he going to stay on board this time, Vial? Under a lot of pressure from Jimmy Button, the American, turning up the screws, and Vial takes a look over, and Button seizes the chance to go in front, but Vial almost gives him the old block pass, which is the same as stuffing him up the boards. And Vial Jimmy Button then out in front, and Vial trying desperately to make up ground that he'd lost. Vial in second place. Number 14, Mike Chamberlain. Oh, and Vial comes back to have a go. And Vial hasn't given this one up. He's the only one of two Frenchmen to win a 125 race so far. Michael Pichon, there he is, a 16-year-old, number 5, then Doug Henry, then number 24, Xavier Fabre. And where is Greg Abeltine? Well, no sign of him at the moment, but the world champion is on a roll at the moment, going well. Not his third win of the tournament in the opening 125 race today. And Vial having a go, tucks back underneath before they get on the tabletop. And, well, he's showing Jimmy Button that the American isn't going to have it his own way. And here comes Michael Pichon. What a star this 16-year-old is. Bike number 5, the man from Le Mans. Really is a babyface character. I don't think he even shaves. He's that young. Jimmy Button, the American, out in front, and he's no veteran either. Jimmy Button, just 19 years of age. Bike number 18, then Frederic Vial, the young Frenchman. Then comes Mike Chamberlain, number 14. 5 is Michael Pichon. And Pichon beginning to put some pressure on Chamberlain. Doug Henry is in 5th place. And Doug Henry, the man who has been overall winner for the past 2 nights. But Henry was down in 9th place in the opening race. He really needs to get in something spectacular here. And Henry will be not pleased to see that Michael Pichon has... Oh, and Pichon in big trouble. Got the whoops all wrong. And I was saying that Henry would have been pleased to see Pichon move up. But Henry now inspired because the Frenchman has dropped back. And Doug Henry goes 2 places higher. Well, Doug Henry desperately needs to win this one if he can. And Michael Pichon, look at him, he's a spectacular old boy. And Doug Henry, there's the race leader, Jimmy Button. And there's Greg Albertine. He's out, a mechanical problem there. So the world champion who won the first race out of this one. So that's going to make life interesting at the top. Buddy Antunes now in with a chance. The race leader here, number 18, Jimmy Button. Then number 15, Frederic Vial, the Frenchman. Oh, Jimmy Button getting it all crossed up there. Here comes Doug Henry in 3rd place. Closing on the 2nd place man, Vial. Vial, Henry, Pichon, Chamberlain, Buddy Antunes 6th. Well, Antunes was 2nd in that first race. If he doesn't put in a bit of a charge in the closing stages of this one, that's going to make life difficult for him if he wants to take overall victory. And Jimmy Button from Moretta, California, out in front. And Doug Henry now getting closer and closer to the 2nd place man, Mike Chamberlain. Doug Henry, there he is, number 7. Doug Henry, 21 years of age. His nickname is Right On, from Fairfield in Connecticut. Ex-Yamaha man, now out on Honda for the first time. And Doug Henry wanting to do well here. And he's in 3rd place and looking very, very threatening. And as you can see, Jimmy Button not that far ahead of Doug Henry. So Henry in 3rd place, in sight of the 2nd place man, and not that far behind number 18, Jimmy Button, who leads the race. Button leads. Jimmy Button still out in front. And consolidating his advantage, Vial, Frederick Vial, winner of one of the 125 races so far at this three-day meeting. Doug Henry, well, he seems to have run out a little bit of steam. Whether he's going to get a new lease of life remains to be seen. Still chasing the Frenchman. Doug Henry, who has not been unbeaten in the 125, but he's been overall winner on the 2 days of racing we've had so far. And that's the gap between the second place man, Frederick Vial, and the American Doug Henry on bike number 7. Looks to the outside, tries to close on the whoops, goes into the section of the track underneath the main grandstands. On the outside, that's not the best line, but he can cut back, and that should get him closer. And again, he cuts back to the inside. Will he go through? No, the gap was closed, but onto the big jumps now. And Doug Henry closing, turns tightly, and Frederick Vial knows he's under pressure, and that in turn will make him be a little apprehensive, I suspect. 1 lap to go, so Jimmy Button out in front, and Doug Henry will do very well indeed to grab second place. That will hoist him up the points table. Jimmy Button there, number 15 Vial, 7 is Doug Henry, getting almost desperate to get past, and this is when either man could make a mistake. And they're closing on the race leader, so it's not over yet. Button, Vial, Henry, Chamberlain, Antonez in 5th place. He was second in the opening race, so that's going to do his chances of overall victory a power of good. Jimmy Button leads with about half a lap to go. Vial in 2nd place, and Doug Henry on the charge. The flag goes out, and Doug Henry crashes trying to get through, and finally remounts and finishes in 3rd place. Well, he was trying desperately to grab 2nd spot. So, and there's number 17, Cyril Port, going over the line. Oh, and a bit of a charge at the end. So Jimmy Button grabbing 20 points there, and Jimmy Button didn't do at all well in the first race, so that's not going to affect the overall situation too much. And there is Jimmy Button in action. So Jimmy Button winning that one from the Frenchman Frederick Vial. And Vial was down in 14th place. So not a lot of improvement for the top men. Oh, there's Michael Pichot, and losing that 3rd place when under pressure from Mike Chamberlain. So that's how they finish. Button, Vial, Doug Henry, Buddy Antonez up to 4th place. Mike Chamberlain 5th. Well, all to go for then in the final round. Join us after the break for more Bercy action. Welcome back to Bercy. Coming up, the 2nd of the day's 250cc races, and Jean-Michel Bayle, boosted of course by his victory over Jeff Stanton in dramatic fashion in the first race. And well, can he do it again in the 2nd race? The riders getting ready for the start of this 12-lap event. Bayle, Stanton, McGrath, Emig, and Larry Ward. Larry Ward, well, Larry Ward down, in fact, in 15th place in that first race, so the Suzuka man trouble. There was Rob Herring. Now, Rob had problems in the first race. He had a fall in the tunnel. Let's see where the Brits actually finished. Good ride from Warren Edwards. He really is a brave boy. 7th in that opening race. Jamie Dobb, who broke a chain, down as 14th finisher. Rob Herring in 12th place. So they got some points, and well, we'll see what's going to happen here. Under starters' orders. seconds away from departure in this 12-lap 250 race, the second of the day. And again, the clash of the giants. Jean-Michel Bayle, number 1. Jeff Stanton, number 2. Jeremy McGrath, number 3. Larry Ward, number 10. They're the men that I think you've got to keep your eye on. The Brits, well, it's Rob Herring is number 11, Jamie Dobb 12, and Warren Edwards number 20. They mustn't touch the gate. The gate drops. The charge is on. And who's going to want to fall right at the very start? And, well, that was Jeff Ward, the veteran who went down there. Out in front, Brian Swink and Larry Ward, number 10. Swink, number 4. Larry Ward, number 10. McGrath, number 3. 14 is Yann Guedard, the Frenchman. But it's Brian Swink who leads. Now, where is Bayle? Where is Stanton? There's number 2, Stanton. There's number 1, Bayle. Neither of them with sensational starts. And it's Brian Swink who leads, the 19-year-old on the Suzuki out in front. There's number 12, Jamie Dobb, towards the tail end of the field. And McGrath, the only one of the Honda men near the front. Number 2, Stanton, number 1, Bayle. But it's Larry Ward who's putting the pressure on. There's number 12, Jamie Dobb, the Derbyshire boy. Ward from Swink, McGrath. Then Rob Herring up there. Good start for Rob Herring. Excellent in 4th place. So the big lad weighs over 14 stone. Big framed fella. His father was a top-class road race tuner in his time. It's Ron Herring and Rob Herring going well. There is Jean-Michel Bayle, and he stuffs Stanton up the boards. And Jeff Stanton loses a couple of places. Bayle made contact with the American. And remember, Bayle just pipped Stanton. And Swink and McGrath level side by side as they battle for 2nd place. Ward out in front. And McGrath all over Brian Swink. Flying high over the jumps in front of the main grandstand. And McGrath just does the old block pass again. So McGrath 2nd. Rob Herring still going well. Yann Guedard, Bayle up another place. Goes ahead of yet another rider. And well, what a tremendous race this is. And Rob Herring still mixing it with the front man. There's Bayle. There's Rob Herring, number 11. Bayle behind him. Then number 14, Yann Guedard. Bayle having trouble getting past the British boy. And still, Rob Herring has the advantage. Herring, this has been the best of the 3 days for Rob Herring. Larry Ward out in front. McGrath actually has got ahead of Swink now, so McGrath is in 2nd place, I think. We'll just check on that. And here's Bayle now ahead of Rob Herring, but Herring hanging on to his shirt tails, being dragged along there. Swink, there is Bayle, then Rob Herring. So it looks as though the order is Larry Ward and Jeremy McGrath. Bayle, well, he's had 1 win today. Can he make it 2? He's got a few riders ahead of him. Rob Herring having a bit of a tussle further back. Still trying to stay with the leading group. Rob Herring having, as I said, a much better day today. Bayle looks back to see where the others are, but it's really more a question of where the others are ahead. Now ahead of him is 3rd place man Brian Swink on the Suzuki, number 4. Then it's McGrath, number 3. There's McGrath. Here's Swink, and then it's Bayle. And Stanton also beginning to make up ground. Stanton now chasing Bayle. Larry Ward on the Suzuki. Well, he likes this circuit and he's made a break, and the others are going to have to ride very hard indeed to get them. There's McGrath, 2nd. 3rd is Swink. 4th, number 1, Bayle. 5th, number 2, Stanton. And Bayle in pursuit of the American Swink, the Suzuki man. And Bayle not having got the parts from America to turn this into a a rather more ferocious motocross machine, whereas Stanton and McGrath have got the quick bits from the United States. There's the leader, Larry Ward. There's McGrath. Now here comes Swink, and is he going to lose out to Bale? No, hangs on to third place as they go into the tunnel. Number 2, Stanton, getting closer. Well, Bale beat Stanton in the first race side by side, with Swink cuts through on the inside, a very tight turn. Owen cuts back nicely, and Bale, beautifully done. He got that worked out, hurtles into view of his 14,000 fans, but Swink isn't finished yet. Well, a nice move by Brian Swink, but Bale just very, very determined, using the berm on the outside. Half distance, says the flagman with the board. So there is Bale. He is now in third place. Then it's Swink. Then Stanton behind. 6 laps left for Bale to catch the leaders and for Stanton to try to get ahead of Jean-Michel Bale. Bale, 23 years of age, looking for a motocross career. Now Stanton's got ahead of Swink. And the Suzuki man dropping back, and Bale flying high, but Stanton is high too. And it's not just height of these jumps, but how far they can jump as well, trying to turn these doubles and triples into just one flowing movement. And to see a top-class Supercross rider at his best, as we're seeing here today, is absolutely magnificent. Bale on the charge. He's in third place now, and his fans will expect him to do better than that. He turns. Stanton comes into view, so not that far between third and fourth place men. Stanton charging. Bale isn't worried about Stanton, he's more concerned about McGrath, and he can see him. There's the race leader, Larry Ward. There's McGrath. There is Bale. Well, that's the gap. First, second and third, all in your picture now. There's Stanton. So we've got the first 4 there. Larry Ward on the Suzuki. What a great weekend he's had. Number 3, Jeremy McGrath, second. Number 1, Jean-Michel Bale in third place. And they're using that banked dirt as a wall of death almost. Bale, tight turn, using the acceleration, the power of these 250cc motocross machines. And Bale still not making that much progress towards catching McGrath, and Stanton, if anything, is getting closer to him. Now there's McGrath. You just caught a glimpse of him going over the top of that jump. Here's Stanton. And Stanton looks at the smoother. Ward, McGrath, Bale. Well, maybe Bale is getting closer. Perhaps going to have to eat the dirt and eat my words. McGrath chasing Ward. Bale chasing McGrath. Stanton chasing Bale. And the front 4 getting closer and closer together as we move towards the climax of this second 250 race. Ward, then McGrath, then Bale, and here's Stanton. Stanton perhaps slipping back a little bit. Bale getting closer to McGrath. Can he catch the 2 Americans ahead of him? Bale in third place. Well, the crowd will start to cheer and stomp and shout. The French commentator trying to whip them into a frenzy. And Bale, I'm sure, encouraged and supported by the devotion of his fans, and he's closer, of that there is no doubt. But Stanton not making up any ground, but Bale can see McGrath and he can see Ward. Now can he pass these 2? This would be remarkable if he could. The gap between McGrath and Bale. Here comes Bale, tight turn, winds on the power. Ward leads, McGrath is second, Bale is third. Stanton is out of it. He's never going to get back here. And the crowd rise to their feet. This is the 11th lap. Well, it said then the final lap. I'm not quite sure whether there's 2 laps to go or 1. And Bale is getting closer. Ward, McGrath and Bale. It is the last lap. It is the final lap. And Ward, McGrath and Bale. Any one of these three could win. It's getting very, very close. Bale must launch one final onslaught. His fans won't be too disappointed if he doesn't know any better than this, because he's beaten Stanton. And that matters a great deal. Ward leads. McGrath is second. Up towards the checkered flag. Ward's done it. McGrath is second. Jean-Michel Bale, and look at the reception for a man who finishes third. Stanton takes fourth place. So once again, it's all set for a dramatic run-in. The final races for the 125s and the 250s coming up after the break. Join us here at Bercy. Welcome back to Bercy then for the final time of this, the third day's racing here at this superb Paris venue. Surprise, surprise, we have the pom-pom girls just doing their display before we get to the final clash of the whole tournament, the 9th and final race for the 125s, and then the 9th and final clash of the 250s. Going into the 125 race, Buddy Antunez, number 6, the American on the Honda, leads with 30 points from Mike Chamberlain on the Kawasaki, who has 26. Doug Henry, the man who's won the 125 class every day so far over this three-day competition, is in third spot. And Greg Albertine, who won the first leg, has not had an overall victory to his credit yet, is joint third on 22 points. So 8 points separating that little group, and this is how they will line up for this 12-lap race. And after that, we've got the final race of the day. The fans have already said goodbye to Jean-Michel Bale. The French have already said goodbye to Jeff Ward, but Jeff Ward, in fact, will make his final motocross supercross appearance at the NEC Supercross in Birmingham on December the 12th and 13th. 3 days of action there, the 11th to 13th. And Jeff Ward, Jeff Stanton, Larry Ward, Donny Schmidt, Greg Albertine, amongst the big names who'll be there, plus all the British boys, of course. So 2 more races to come here from Bercy. They're lining up for the last 125. They'd love their 16-year-old Michael Pichon to do the business, but he's struggling at the moment, down on 13 points, but a win. He's had a win already. That was on the opening day of this 3-day competition. And the commentator sprinting for his life. 12 laps then, ahead of the field. Frédéric Vial, the Frenchman who finished second to Jimmy Button in the first race, or rather the second race today. Number 1, the world champion from South Africa, Greg Albertine. And the goals, they've got tear-off visors. There's the youngster, Michael Pichon. Some superb helmets, aren't they? Wonderful paint jobs. Art form in its own right. So here we go. The rider's getting ready. 5-second board goes up. 15 seconds. Pardon me. And Japanese photographer just looking to commit suicide there. 5 seconds to go. All eyes on the gate. The gate drops. The charge is on. Who is it who's going to hit the front first? Well, number 14, Mike Chamberlain, made the break first. Good start from him. Buddy Antunez, number 6. Number 11, that's Jimmy Gaddis. He's up there well. So too, number 1. Oh, and the leader crashes, and that's not a good place to fall off. Well, that really was a very lucky let-off for Mike Chamberlain, number 14. He fell off right in front of the field, and that left number 11, Jimmy Gaddis, to go. There's a Frenchman, number 7, that's Doug Henry. Well, he's been the overall winner on the last 2 nights. Well, they're going down like 9 pins. So, the charge is on. There's number 5, Pichon, the French boy. He's back in about 5th or 6th place. So, leading is number 11, Jimmy Gaddis. Oh, and number 1, the South African, Greg Albertine. And number 6, Buddy Antunes, almost coming together. And again, more elbowing. And Greg Albertine goes through on the inside. The front 3 absolutely together. And they're about to be joined by another American, Jimmy Button. Well, what a great race out in front. The 1-2-5s have produced some superb racing. Jimmy Gaddis leads from Greg Albertine. Albertine looks for the inside line, can't go through the door, is slammed in his face. Gaddis leads, number 11, behind Albertine. Then it's Buddy Antunes. Antunes, the man who could be heading for his first overall victory here at Bercy. Gaddis leading Albertine, then Antunes. Then it's number 18, Jimmy Button. Then number 10, Phil Lawrence. Factory Phil is his nickname. And he'll be wanting to put in a good ride here. We've lost contact with number 5, Michael Pichon. See where he is in a moment. And Albertine, the world champion, winding up the wick, comes level with Jimmy Gaddis. Buddy Antunes still there in 3rd place, looking very threatening. And the world champion goes to the front. The 20-year-old South African, I said he was 19 earlier. Well, he's just had his birthday in October, so he's 20 years of age, just 20. And the South African goes to the front. And the Americans get... There's Michael Pichon back there, and the crowd would love it if their 16-year-old Frenchman could get amongst the leaders. He's back in 6th place, but he's in contention, and Antunes loses a spot. Buddy Antunes, the man who hopes to score enough points here to clinch overall victory. He tops the points table at the moment on 30. Greg Albertine leads. Then it's number 11, Jimmy Gaddis. Number 18, Jimmy Button. Number 10, Phil Lawrence. Then who is it after that? It could either be Michael Pichon or Jimmy Button. And it's Antunes. Then Michael Pichon behind him. Good scrap going on there. Well, Antunes won't want to drop back any further. He really needs to finish in the top 3 or 4 to make sure of overall victory. This is going to be very close when they add the points together. And look at this group of riders, all chasing the world champion out in front. Number 5, Michael Pichon. He's young, he's brave, but he's very inexperienced. He's had several crashes, but he's already had a win, and you can't rule him out. The youngster from Le Mans chasing this group. There's the 2nd place man, number 11, Jimmy Gaddis. And there is 5, Michael Pichon. They're all chasing Greg Albertine. And it's very, very close indeed. 5, Pichon levels with Buddy Antunes. Can he get ahead? No, he can't. He turns tightly. Number 3, Pedro Tractor. 7, Doug Henry. He's well back. So Doug Henry, who's been overall winner on the first 2 nights. Oh, and Jimmy Button gives the treatment out there to Jimmy Gaddis. So Button goes through, Gaddis drops back too. Pichon's gone ahead of Antunes. Well, what a superb race this is. The crowd on their feet. Here's the French boy, 16 years of age, and he's mixing it with the very best in the world. This is the half distance, and Antunes dropping back all the more. Pichon goes up another place. And Jimmy Button there, number 18, ahead of number 10, Phil Lawrence. Then Pichon. Then number 11, Jimmy Gaddis, who got the treatment right royally from Jimmy Button. And Pichon trying to leap ahead, and he's on the tight line. He may go up one. No, he didn't that time. Well, what a magnificent battle this is. The best race of any we've had so far on what have been 3 absolutely marvellous days of Supercross racing. Michael Pichon, there he is, number 5, just 16 years of age. He's already won so many titles, you can almost lose count. And he's now putting the pressure on Phil Lawrence, number 10, right ahead of him, and number 18, Jimmy Button. These three have pulled clear of that group behind. Pichot makes the tight turn, chasing 18 Button, 10 Lawrence, Factory Phil Lawrence they call him. And Pichot levels with number 10. Phil Lawrence drops back though as they go over those whoops before they come up onto the tabletop. And Pichot leaps through the air, trying to make up ground. The crowd urging him on. He really is a remarkable, fine rider for his age. Some of these guys have been racing, would you believe it, since the age of 3 or 4. Absolutely superb. Number 10, Phil Lawrence, and Pichot as a sprint tries to go around the outside, turns very tightly, and he still cannot get past it. Oh, and he's all over the place, and he's down. Well, Pichot just tried too hard. Anthony goes past him, Tractor goes past him, Doug Henry goes past him. He kicks the bike into line. Oh, there's Doug Henry. Well, how sad for the 16-year-old trying so hard. Phil Lawrence, number 10, 2 laps to go. Out in front, look at the lead. The world champion is stretched though in the meantime. Number 1, Greg Albertine. Number 10, Phil Lawrence. Number 18, Jimmy Button. And poor old teenager Michael Pichot drops a long way back after making contact with Lawrence and losing an awful lot of ground. Well, that really was sad. And Greg Albertine out in front at the moment. And he's just destroyed the opposition. Petro Tractor, who finished 3rd in this year's 125 World Championship. Jimmy Gaddis back there in 6th spot. So the final lap, and well, it's really all over now. It was a superb battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. Here's the man who leads the race, and he has stamped his authority on this event. And well, it's been a mixed meeting for Greg Albertine. He had a stomach disorder on the first night and he had to go to the medical centre. Oh, a bit of an incident back there, but no problems for Greg Albertine, and they've cleared up the problem. Albertine then notching his 4th win of the tournament. 4 out of 9, that can't be bad. And well, it looks as though Antonez has got ahead, or stayed ahead of Tractor, I should say. Jimmy Gaddis taking 6th spot. So 4 wins out of 5 for Greg Albertine. I'll try and work out the point situation. Not going to be easy. And Greg Albertine there, blonde-haired 20-year-old from Bryanston. And there's Michael Pichot, who obviously took another tumble, trying to, and he looks as though he's hurt himself. Oh, on his feet. But he'll be off to the medical centre. Well, yeah, well, he's ridden an absolute heroes, not just a heroes race, but a heroes meeting. He has gone so well. Well, let's try and work out for you the total scores. Buddy Anthony's adds another 13 to his score. That makes him on 43. And Mike Chamberlain finished outside the top 10, but I don't know exactly where he finished. We'll have to wait for the result. Oh dear, that's when the leader went down. That's when Mike Chamberlain went down hard. Now, whether he remounted and how many points we got, we don't know. Now looking at the form of Albi, as he's known, Greg Albertine, and the obligatory spectacular jump over the finishing line. Well, what a wonderful performance from the world champion. Don't know where Chamberlain finished. We don't know where Doug Henry finished either. Greg Albertine would take his score to 42. So that's one less than Buddy Antonez. Wait for the official results to come up on the screen. And there's number 6, Buddy Antonez, number 1. Oh, that's what they made contact there. And they made contact a little bit later. Here's Greg Albertine going to hand out the treatment, I think, here.
Well, I like winning, like everybody, but
Oh, dear. And a nasty get-off there for Terry Bettis, the Frenchman. It's an all-action sport, and you've got to be rough and tough and fit to ride motocross, whether it's in a stadium or out in the countryside. Podium time then for the winners. Still waiting to see how many points Chamberlain got. He would, well, no, he didn't. So I think we can say that Antonez is the winner, overall winner for tonight. Congratulations to him. And Greg Albertine just finishing 1 point down. Join us after the break for the final 250 race from Bercy.
I didn't have enough time to catch him, so I ended up second.
Non, je pense qu'effectivement, bon, si j'avais été tout seul, j'avais peut-être...
Eurosport Live.
So back at Bercy, coming up to the final race of the entire 3 days action, and looking now at some of the slow-mo magic of that last 1-2-5 race. It's been a splendid 3 days, and that's where poor old Michael Pichon, the 16-year-old, just made contact there with the American ahead of him, and his hopes of finishing on the podium were dashed, but he's made a big impression here, a big impression. So that's how they finish. Well, I don't think that's correct for one moment, because Greg Albertine was on 22 before this race started. So Buddy Antonez, in fact, I think the caption is wrong. Buddy Antonez, overall winner, and Greg Albertine 1 point behind. So Carter disagrees there with the caption, but mathematics has never been my strong point. Well, the track being prepared for the final race of the night. Let me tell you the point situation as we go into this final clash. Jean-Michel Bayle on 35, Jeremy McGrath on 32, and Jeff Stanton on 30. 5 points separating, and there's Rob Herring looking very pensive.
Le numéro 8, champion des États-Unis 125 outdoor, Jeff Emig, le super sympa, spectaculaire s'il en est, et tout aussi agréable numéro 10, vous l'avez sans doute beaucoup apprécié.
So this is how they're going to line up for this third 250 race of the night. And let's have a quick look back how it's gone. Well, Jeff Stanton's been overall winner of the 250 class for the past 2 nights. Larry Ward has won 3 races. Jean-Michel Bayle has won 2. And Stanton has won 2. And Jeremy McGrath has won 1. So the honours fairly evenly divided. And I think it'd be something of a Superman who could go through the 9 races unbeaten. There's Stanton. We saw a little earlier the goodbyes to Jean-Michel Bayle, and Jeff Stanton did shake hands with Jean-Michel Bayle. He was in the line of riders and mechanics and celebrities here, but it wasn't the most heartfelt handshake in the world. And there's Jean-Michel Bayle having his last Supercross ride ever, last appearance as a motocrosser. There has been suggestions that he's got a couple of rides with Kawasaki next year, but he says that all his attention, all his time is going to be devoted to road racing. Well, again, the clash is not just a question of who can win, but it's whether Bale can beat Stanton or not. They do not like each other, and the French fans here are not wildly excited with Jeff Stanton. Well, the Brits have had quite a weekend. The three of them have been far from disgraced. Derbyshire's Jamie Dobb, Rob Herring from Floor in Northamptonshire, and Londoner Warren Edwards. Warren Edwards has been riding with an injured hand. And I must confess, after seeing this splendid 3 days of sport, I am looking forward to the NEC in December. Make a note in your diary, the 11th, 12th, 13th at the NEC, and big-time Supercross comes to England. The motors are fired up. Bale and Stanton next to each other. Number 4, that's Brian Swink, who you may remember led the second 250 race off the line. So the very final race of Bercy 1992 is very close to getting underway. 12 laps ahead of the field. The curtain about to go down on this marvellous spectacle. A wonderful venue, great racing, magnificent competitors. And, well, can Bale salvage an overall victory? He's got a 5-point buffer over Stanton, but only a 3-point lead over McGrath. Now, if McGrath wins and Bale finishes second, McGrath will get the overall victory, because ties are decided by the result of the third leg on each particular night. And we are 15 seconds or less away from the start. Number 1 is Bale. Number 2 is Stanton. Number 3, McGrath. Number 10, Larry Ward. The Brits, 11, Rob Herring. 12, Jamie Dobb. 20, Warren Edwards. All eyes on the gate. The gate drops. The last race at Bercy 1992 is underway, and McGrath gets the break. He makes the whole shot. And Jeremy McGrath, number 3, out in front. Larry Ward on the inside, and Larry Ward takes over. McGrath, Stanton is up there. Well, where is Bale? That's the next question. Number 1, well back, not a very good start. Number 12, Jamie Dobb up there, good start from him. Where is Rob Herring? There's number 12, Jamie Dobb. Bale to the outside of him. McGrath, Stanton, Larry Ward leads. They go out underneath the stadium. Jamie Dobb there, looking for Rob Herring. There he is. And Warren Edwards not that far behind him. So the Brits very much in the picture. McGrath still holding off Stanton, number 14. That's Jan Guedard, the Frenchman on the Kawasaki. Then behind him, Jeff Matejevich. And McGrath in second place. There's Ward, the leader on the Suzuki. Behind him, McGrath. Then Stanton. Well, this could be a bit of a turn up. There's Bale, and Bale just gives the treatment to Jeff Matejevich. Bale on the charge. Stanton is third, and only Jan Guedard, number 14, lies between Bale and Stanton. There's the leader, number 10, Larry Ward. Number 3, McGrath. Number 2 is Jeff Stanton. Then it's number 14, Jan Guedard, the Frenchman. There he is. Then Jean-Michel Bale, number 1. And the crowd, they would love Bale to win his final race. And I don't think just the fans would like that. Now, and Guedard, the Frenchman, got himself in real trouble. Bale was going past him anyway, but that helped. So now, a clear track between Jean-Michel Bale and third place man Jeff Stanton. Larry Ward leads. Larry Ward at the moment on 21 points, not really in with a chance of overall victory. It's McGrath or Bale, I suspect. There's Bale. Guetta, having recovered, is coming through. Jeff Matezovic, then Brian Strink, number 4, 2 Americans. Here comes Bale soaring. Oh, having a look at the giant TV screen, I think. And out in front, they're all closing together. Ward, McGrath and Stanton. There's Bale to the left of your picture. I think these 4 are going to produce a humdinger. Ward, McGrath, Stanton. Now McGrath needs to beat Bale by more than 3 points. It's 20-17, 15-13. So you can work it out for yourself as we go along. Bale is 4th. He's on 13 points. He's 4 points down on McGrath if they finish like this. So McGrath would be the overall winner tonight. Stanton levels with McGrath. McGrath looks at him, holds him off. McGrath admitted before this race that he's getting very tired. Stanton's on the inside. McGrath closes the door. Does he? Yes, he does. Just physically throws the bike where Stanton wanted to be. Now McGrath will try and summon up all the reserve energy he can muster. He must finish at least one rider ahead of Jean-Michel Bale. Stanton wants to beat Bale. McGrath pulling away from Stanton. Bale closing on Stanton. Jeff Stanton, the man who Jean-Michel Bale is not the best friends with, could help Jeremy McGrath grab overall victory in this very final race of Jean-Michel Bale's career. Stanton could help the American Honda rider, but there's no team orders between McGrath and Stanton, I'll promise you that. That's the gap between 2nd and 3rd. Here comes the 4th place man, Jean-Michel Bale. Bale turns, winds up the power. Stanton still held up by McGrath. Here comes Bale. McGrath holds 2nd place over the whoops, makes a better job of it than Stanton does, and that's remarkable because Stanton is good there. Over the tabletop they go. Then the big jumps down the far side of the circuit. McGrath holding on Stanton, very quick into that corner. Now the whoops, and Stanton very good here. Closes on McGrath. McGrath hangs on underneath the Dunlop Bridge into the tunnel underneath the grandstand. Stanton still charging. There's Larry Ward, the leader. Here's McGrath in 2nd place. Stanton in 3rd spot. 4th is Jean-Michel Bale, but Bale can quicken his pace. Somehow, somewhere, he just appears to go up a gear. Not a gear on the gearbox, but just a gear on his riding pace. There's Bale. He can see Stanton and McGrath ahead of him, and the crowd are cheering him on. They want Jean-Michel Bale to win his last race, but more than that, they want him to beat Stanton. Bale in 4th spot. Larry Ward still out in front. McGrath still holding off Stanton. And if he... Oh, and side by side, Stanton on the inside, and he goes through. McGrath loses 2nd place, and Bale could yet win overall if it stays like this. Bale has a 3-point advantage. Now it's 5 points between Stanton and Jean-Michel Bale. 17 for 2nd and 13. So at the moment Stanton has a 4-point advantage over Bale. So Bale would still win, and that would raise the roof here at Bercy. And Stanton's gone ahead of McGrath. McGrath's chance of overall victory. Of course, Larry Ward's got to stay on. They've all got to stay on, I'm assuming that. And here comes Bale. Bale getting closer, and he's got time on his side. And Jean-Michel Bale now has got McGrath firmly in his sights. 3 laps to go by my reckoning, and Bale now has McGrath. Oh, almost clipped the wall. That could have been a very, very nasty accident. Into the stadium comes Bale, chasing McGrath. He's getting closer and closer. He's just a remarkable Supercross rider. so much talent. The former 125 and 250 world champion. He's won all 3 major titles in the 3 years he's been in the United States. And McGrath passing one of the slower men. And Bale's with him. Ward leads. Stanton is there. Now, if Stanton can beat Larry Ward, then all the permutations go out of the window. I almost give up. Here's Bale, and he's got ahead of McGrath. Bale has passed McGrath. He's in 3rd place. Jean-Michel Bale, I think, is heading for overall victory. I've thrown my little calculator out of the door. Jean-Michel Bale in 3rd place. 2 laps to go, says the board. And if mental energy can do anything, then the crowd are willing. And here's Stanton right with Larry Ward. What a race it is for the lead. Bale surely is never going to catch him. Oh, and Stanton so on the outside, putting the pressure on Larry Ward. Ward on the inside. Here comes Bale. It's a lap and a bit to go now. They turn. Bale charges on. McGrath in 4th place. He's worn out after 3 hard days racing. Stanton turns tight. Stanton would get 20. If Stanton wins 2017-15, if Stanton wins, Stanton will be the overall winner because he'll take the 20 points. Stanton knows that, and he made a real mess of that. And Stanton charging on, and it's going to be all too late, I think, into the tunnel for the final time. And that mistake by Stanton has ruined his chances, I think. Ward is clear. Larry Ward out in front. Stanton made a big mistake there. His chance of beating Larry Ward has gone. Ward's broken clear. Larry Ward is going to win, and that mistake by Jeff Stanton has cost him overall victory for the 3rd night in a row, and it will give Jean-Michel Bale overall victory. Larry Ward is going to win. The checkered flag is ready. It's Ward the winner. Jeff Stanton takes 2nd place. Jean-Michel Bale is 3rd, and Jean-Michel Bale bows out with overall victory at Bercy in the final day of this 3-day indoor Supercross. Absolutely superb. Jeremy McGrath is just worn out. Let me just confirm all that. Larry Ward gets 20, that puts him on 41. Stanton gets 17, that puts him on 47. Bale gets 15, that puts him on 50. And Jeremy McGrath will get 13, that puts him on 45. It's Bale, the overall winner. Well, what a remarkable race. Join us again after the break as we say goodbye from Bercy in 1992. Welcome back to Bercy for the final time. There he is, Jean-Michel Bale. He finished 3rd in that race. And he's won overall. It was tough. He wanted to win. They all want to win. But he did enough to take overall victory on the night when he says goodbye to Bercy, goodbye to Paris, and goodbye to motocross. Jean-Michel Bale, overall winner of the final race. Absolutely superb. There's Warren Edwards being helped off. I don't know whether he's taken another tumble. Well, he's certainly given his all. And onto the podium they go for the final time. Great ride from Larry Ward. Jeff Stanton tried so hard, didn't he? Larry Ward, the winner of the 3rd race. I put him on 41 points with that win. He had a disaster in the 1st race today. Finished down in 15th place and just picked up a point. Here we go. Ward, McGrath behind, and then Stanton. But it was that mistake towards the end. You can see Stanton really having to work hard there. Not the smoothest ride in the world for Jeff Stanton.
Eh ben, vous savez bien que de toute façon, je le savais que c'était la finale historique avec Jeff et Jean-Michel qui se battaient derrière, et Et je suis finalement très content d'avoir réussi à gagner.
Well, Larry Ward, he's had a great meeting. The word is that Larry Ward, who is 22 years of age, has been riding really hard here in order to ensure a factory ride of some kind for next year. And the suggestion is, although it's been denied strenuously in the paddock, that he is going to ride in the 250 World Championship.
Best I could, Larry wrote a good job, but most important for me is King of Bercy. Jeff Stanton and United States takes King of Bercy.
Eh ben, en ce qui me concerne, c'est simple, cette finale était aussi historique qu'on l'a dit.
Well, Jeff Stanton,
je suis fier
King of Bercy, he says. He's won 2 nights out of 3, and he's finished third by 3 points on my reckoning to Jean-Michel Bayle. I must give a little vote of thanks to Mick and Robert Glynn, who've been working hard in the pit, scurrying around getting the information. There's the scoreboard, which confirms 50 points for Bayle, 47 for Stanton, 45 for McGrath. If Stanton could have got ahead, he'd have made it a hat-trick, a clean sweep. And here's Jean-Michel Bayle. I don't think he's even raised a sweat, has he? Hardly perspiring after 12 tough laps round this fiendish Bercy circuit. Well, as he says, he's ended it all with a victory. Overall victory for Jean-Michel Bayle. They love him.
Si l'on veut m'apporter les résultats du classement général du 250, j'en serais fort heureux. Maintenant, nous allons
Vous les avez en haut, Jean-Louis, vous les avez juste au-dessus de vous.
There's Jeremy McGrath.
Alors, on va rendre les compos pour les 125, classement général de la soirée.
He's made a name for himself over the past few weeks in Paris, winner at Parc des Princes, in with a chance of overall victory, even as late as a couple of laps from the finish. Larry Ward, well, he's had a great meeting. Absolutely superb. Scored a win on the Friday, a win on the Saturday, and 2 wins today. Well, absolutely superb. And there is Larry Ward on the Suzuki, flying high. European fans may well see him in the 250 Grand Prix next year. Jeff Stanton returns to the States to carry on his career, so too does Jeremy McGrath. But this man says goodbye to it all. Been marvellous, wonderful Bercy, the 10th anniversary. Goodbye then from Bercy on the 10th anniversary. A marvellous 3 days of racing. I trust you've enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Perhaps see you at the NEC in December.
Yeah, next year I'll be back. I won the first one, won the third one. I couldn't get the middle one right. So next year I'll be back to try and win.